We'd like to say good evening and welcome to the show. Now, if on occasion in the near future any of you are, chance making a tour through Florida, I recommend very much that you make a point of taking the tour through the Everglades and seeing the alligators. Really. But I do suggest that when you're making this tour, be sure to follow the instructions of the alligator guide guards. The scene is, we're in Florida. Yay! And we're watching a tour through the Everglades. The guide has 35 people in the group. And he stops the group. He said, hold it, just slow down here. He said, ladies and gentlemen, he said, I want to remind you once again to watch out for the alligators. He said, please stay together. That way, if an alligator attacks, we can fight him off. There's still anyone around. And one of the women there in the group says, why should we pay $3 each to get in and then have to worry about the alligators getting us? She said, I'm not going to worry about it myself. You can't take people's money, then throw them to the alligators. The guide said, lady, I'm just trying to help you. He said, I've never forgotten what my uncle, who had been a guide here for 43 years, told me. My uncle told me that. He said, son, the only people who don't have to worry about the alligators are the ones that the alligator got already. So then I heard a snap and my uncle was gone. She says, I don't believe that. Said, you're just trying to scare us into believing we're getting our money's worth by getting out of here safely. Said, if there ain't any alligators around here, they're probably on the other side of the swamp. The guy says, they might be. They might be on the other side of the swamp, but this is the path they use when they're hungry. So the woman says, well, how can you tell when there's an alligator around? The guy says, well, let's say you and your husband keep straggling behind the group like you've been doing. She said, just a minute, honey. She says, don't you get carried away just because you got a little old blue cap and a white shirt and a shoulder patch that says Swamp Guide. Watch how you talk to people. Said, I deny the allegation that my husband and I have been straggling. The guide said, lady, it's a lot easier to deny the allegation than it is to deny the alligator. He said, look, Mom, he said, I'm telling you and your husband for the last time that I'm also responsible for the safety of 33 other people. He said, now let's assume y'all don't want to listen because you think you know everything and can't nobody tell you nothing. The lady says, okay, well, will you just answer the question, how can you tell when there's an alligator around? The guy says, I'm coming to it, don't rush me. So now, let's say we're walking through the swamp, single file. That means one in back of the other. And no funny stuff either. Said, I want to remind you ladies to keep a sharp eye on your purses, especially if they're made of alligator. Because a lot of the alligators are looking for their long-lost uncles and aunts. And some of the younger alligators can't tell the difference between that imitation stuff. The lady says, well, how can you tell if there's an alligator? The guy said, I'm coming to it. She said, it's very simple. So now, let's say you and your husband are walking along behind the group, and then your husband falls back a little further and sneaks behind a bush to take a drink like he's been doing all morning. Say he's behind the bush there about 10 minutes. Then you decide to go back and look for him. And you go back there and you don't see him. You get behind the bush, you hear a snap, crackle, pop, and a belch. There's an alligator around.